Okay, I need. All right, thank you. So now Sprint Zero, what exactly is this Sprint Zero? Sprint Zero is very, very important. It's a preparatory phase, right, in Agile. So don't worry if you don't even know what it means actually, but I'm going to lay it out for you. I'm going to tell you what I'm expecting in the Sprint Zero. Then after that, when you go into your meetings or your training, and you just need to start talking to your mentors or your tutor that this is expected, this is what you are meant to do at the before the end of this particular Sprint Zero. You're going to have Sprint Zero, which is 2 weeks, right? Every sprint is 2 weeks, okay? So then you're going to have sprint 1, after sprint 0, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5. So technically, you have opportunity to repeat this cycle 5 times at least anyway. So sprint 0, you would kind of use it to prepare for sprint 1 anyway. So there are a lot of activities that would happen. I'm going to go through that, okay? So you dedicate it for preparing for upcoming sprints and ready for development work. So technically right now in sprint 0, you might not do any development work, but use it to kind of coach your team. Any impediments like what we said right now about prep just not working, I'm not able to access this environment, I'm not, so you kind of use it to prep your team. And so if anyone also want to coach, you can also coach your team ready. So we are also going to be doing the training actually, which is another coaching part anyway for you to get ready. So that is important, what you're going to get in sprint 0 actually. So now in terms of the activities that I'm expecting you to do, either as a scrum master, as a ADM, as a BA QA. So let me first start with the ADM specifically, right? ADM. You need to do a project kickoff, right? So, and I want you to speak to your tutors or mentors when you have the meeting. So you need to have a project kickoff. So you need, this one is when you organize and facilitate a prayer kickoff meeting, right? You need to where you introduce yourself to the team or your team to yourself. So you have that particular meeting. So of course, you also need to speak about the project goal. What is the project goal or the project mandate? What is the scope of your work? What is the objective of what you're doing? As a team, you need to come together, have that meeting within your team, right? Where you specify the goal and the project mandate and the scope and objective. Also, the purpose is to ensure that everyone understands the purpose of the project and the expected the outcome. So this is very, very important as an ADM to ensure that you relay the message to them in a clear term and also get feedback that they understand what you're meant to do. Do you get it now? And yeah, this is very, very important. And as an ADM now, you, of course, the team is formed, right? So you ensure that the team know what they need to do. The Scrum Master know that the Scrum Master, pro owner know that they are Scrum Master. So it's not a case where everyone, you need to do a roll call. The testers, the developers, everyone is onboarded properly. Do you get it now? It's very, very important. And technically, your team is formed, right? You are all formed, okay? So how many ADM you have, how many Scrum Masters, you do a roll call, ensure that everybody is present and they know their role, they know that. So it's possible they don't know what they're going to do, which is okay. We're going to do the training, but everyone knows that okay, the DA know that DA, the QA knows their QA. So this is very, very important. So and they are also integrated into the Agile team also. So I'm not talking about Scrum Master now. I'm talking about ADM, right? Ensure that they are integrated into that team that you are assigned to, right? So that means, yeah, you onboarded everybody and they know what to do. This is very, very important, okay? And also, yeah, I'm going to assume that you don't also know Agile framework anyway. So we're going to postpone this particular task into the sprint 1, okay? So, and yeah, in sprint 0 as a ADM, you will have also trained in Agile principles. You train your team in Agile principles. Do you get now? Because you are also kind of technically Agile coach within your team. Do you get it now? You train them and okay, this is what the Scrum framework is, which is the responsibility of your roles. I'm going to assume that you don't know that right now. So put a a date down in sprint 1, because in sprint 0 they are going to teach you these ceremonies and these principles and everything. So I want you, as they taught you in sprint 0, you need to now relay it back to your team in sprint 1. Tell them, oh, this is the principle of Agile, this is what we need to do. Okay, so that everyone can understand Agile mindsets and principles. This is very, very important. Okay. And also in sprint 0, in collaboration with the Scrum Master, okay, in collaboration with Scrum Master, you need to have definition of done, right? Definition of done. So you collaborate within your team, and you are there as well, and the the Scrum team are also they are there. You define what should be your definition of done. It's okay if you don't know what definition of done is or definition of ready. So, but at the end of sprint 0, I need this. Okay. So that means that the tutor that is going to take you in Scrum Mastering, you at the end of the first lecture, tell them, oh, you said you need to do definition of done. You don't know. So even if if that particular tutor or mentor did not prepare for that, in the next time you come, I know they're going to teach you. Do you get it now? Like I said, it's on the job training. Do you get it now? So you need to do definition of done and definition of ready before the end of this particular sprint 0. And also in collaboration with the with the product owner and the BA, you also need to agree how acceptance criteria will be written. Do you get it now? Most people will write it in a Gherkin format. Okay, acceptance criteria. How do we want to write it? Do you get it now? Past stories and everything. This is very, very important. The purpose of this is to ensure that your definition of done and ready aligns with the project quality standard. As a ADM, you need to set the quality you get for the team. So sometimes this is important to identify or highlight that this role, sometimes if the ADM is not there, the Scrum Master could step up to do this role as well. So, but I'm going to give it to the ADM, but the Scrum Master, please ensure that you help your ADM to achieve this role. Okay, if your ADM is not around or they are slacking, I give you the opportunity to do it. Okay, this is very, very important. So, and that's what I can say. So then also now, as an ADM, you need to establish communication channel between your team and the stakeholders. That will mean that you need to know who your product owner is, who your project sponsor is, and have a communication channel between them. So you need to know who the mentors are, so that if your anything is escalated to you, you need to ensure that you know who to actually speak to. This is so that you set a clear expectation regarding the project progress and reporting, whereby you collaborate with the stakeholder. This is very, very important. And the next task that you need to do before the end of sprint 0 is to ensure that, with collaboration with the Scrum Master now, the Agile tool is set up. We are going to use Azure DevOps, right? You with the Scrum Master, you need to agree on the functionalities or how you need to set it up. So you work together to ensure that. So more often at this level, it might be oversight role, right? So to ensure that it is done properly by the Scrum Master, but I'll put this responsibility on the Scrum Master, but you need to ensure that it's done properly. You get now, ensure that the tools are configured and to support the Agile practices that we are going to do anyway. So that's important. And as an ADM, also you need to collaborate with your product owner to prepare for sprint planning, the first sprint planning. So it's very, very important. So you need to get the product owner to say, oh, what are we going to do in sprint 1, right? So that the team are not actually they're not starved of the story for sprint 1. So this is very, very important. So that even the BA can start writing stories for sprint 1. So this is very, very important anyway. And also, this is to ensure that the team is prepared and to conduct effective sprint planning for sprint 1. So like I said, I said that your role is like before and after. This is now before they start, you are getting the team ready. You are setting them up for success. Do you get it now? Because it is your team anyway, even though they are going to do most of the heavy lifting. So, and at the end, you also will pick their artifacts. Okay, you supply them input, you get their output. Do you get it? And that's very, very important. So their output is your own input at the end. That's very, very important. And also, as a ADM, you need to also set up the agile metrics and reporting as well. So this also will you have to do in collaboration with the Scrum Master anyway. So that you know, okay, what are we going to track? Okay, during the project, it might be your own. The Scrum Master will have to set up the velocity, the burn down chart, the cycle time, and everything. But you need to ensure that they are there and you can see them, because you need to be able to see that, okay, oh, what's their velocity? You go and check it. And where they put it, where they put the dashboard and everything, you need to be able to see them. This is very, very important. And also, as an ADM, you need to do risk assessment and impediment identification. So, and I know the Scrum Master will be removing impediment. You need to have visibility of those impediments. Do you get it now? And you need to collaborate with the team to identify potential risk or any impediment that may arise. Do you get it now? But it will be the role of the Scrum Master to ensure that those impediments are removed. Do you get it now? But you need to have visibility of those impediments. So which means that you need to have a repository where the Scrum Master are logging those impediments. Do you get it now? And they say, oh, I have impediment. Have you logged it? Even though you are not going to do anything, you need to see, oh, these are the impediments, so that you measure the risks. Do you get it now? As they are logging in, okay, this is happening every time. Because for instance, let's say someone is saying, I'm not around today, I'm not around tomorrow, I'm not. So technically, you are seeing the risk, and you are seeing a pattern. If you need to act fast and ensure that this person gets a replacement, you already know. Do you get it now? So this is ensure that you develop a strategy to mitigate any of the risks and prepare for quick resolution of any impediment that will come even from the Scrum Master. So that's what I'm expecting you to do. As you go along, there will be other things, that continuous improvement. I'm going to also ask if that's fine also as an ADM to ensure that the Kiwi have got a continuous environment setup. They have their repository kind of set up, and when their automation started, they know where to put this in as well. Okay, and also you need to look at budgeting, right? Budget allocated. One thing I can tell you quickly is that now you have member of your team, right? So even though I'll tell you the composition of your team now, so even though there are a lot of people, yourself, let's say you have 4 people, 4 ADM or 2 ADM in your team, you're only 1 ADM because you guys are not working full time. So technically, you are 1 person. Do you get it now? Then also, the Scrum Master, you may have 4 Scrum Master, they are 1 Scrum Master altogether. So technically, you will say both all of them are working part-time. Do you get it now? So, but as a whole, you have 1 Scrum Master within your team. So that is that. So then you also have you have 2, I would say 2 to 3, whatever that is, 2 keyways, okay? 2 keyways in your team, and you have 1 BA in your team, okay? Even if there are also 7 or 10, do you get that? They are not working full time. So there are only 1 BA within your team, okay? And also 2 keyways within your team. And you also have 2 data analysts within your team. So now for you to actually come up with a budget, right? So now an ADM will get 550, right? A product owner, okay, you also have a product owner, 500 for product owner, okay? I'm talking about per day now, okay? Per day, 500 for the product owner. So, and also you have the BA getting 450, you have the keyway getting 450, and also you have developer, you have 4 developers within your team, okay? 4 to 5 developers within your team, and each of them are getting 500, okay? So for the next 3 months, calculate them together. That will be your budget, okay? So then you need to present it at the end of the sprint that this is your project. This is very, very important. So, and so that you ensure that you have the adequate or required resources that is required. So documentation is very, very important. Ensure your team has got enough documentation. You need to go to your wiki in your Teams and put a section for documentation. So every artifact needs to go in there. When you're having your sprint demo, you need to put them in there. Yours is to ensure that your team has got that. The Scrum Master would make sure that they are there, right? So at that point is your oversight that you are doing. Do you get to ensure that you put those documentation? So and ensure that the Scrum Master validate or create and also update those agile process documentation. So you need to ask the Scrum Master to write, what is actually is agile, principle of agile, all those things that they've taught you. You need to now write documentation as a Scrum Master about those things so your team can go and read them. Do you get it now? So that's the one. And as agile delivery manager, you need to look at them to say that, you've covered this, you covered it. And sometimes you might also roll your sleeve and add some things as an agile coach as well. This is important. Okay. And so one thing that I also want you to do, right? So in relation to the coordinator, I have given their roles now. Rely with the coordinator, ensure that they actually do the training that they need to do, because sometimes the coaching also will fall on you as well as training and coaching. But let's say your member of team say, I don't know how to do wireframes. Okay, so now the coordinator will set up a training and say, okay, let's do wireframe. Yeah. So that is after the tutors have trained you. Anyway, the tutors will do everything. The mentors will also do. But maybe one or two people didn't get it. You get it now. So you can have another meeting. Normally at work, we call it like a brown box, brown bag training. So, or lunch and learn, that's what we call it at work, lunch and learn. So more often, maybe company are a bit stringent. They won't fix it within the time that you work. They'll fix it within the lunch time. Do you get now? So you bring your lunch and then you start to train people about that. So you don't use the time that you meant to work. Do you get? That's what they call lunch challenge or brown bag. Brown bag is basically you go out, buy your lunch, put in a brown bag, then start to, as you are eating, since in that brown bag, you are also teaching your people. So you have that session anyway. So with the coordinator that I've said, okay, that is that in terms of the ADM. Okay, now talking about the Scrum Master. So in relation to that, there's a bit of overlap. I've mentioned some of those things. So kickoff meeting, of course, even though ADM is organizing it, and you need to be there, you need to facilitate it as well. So, and everyone needs to be there and understand the goal, understand the vision of the project, understand the project mandate. That's very important. So now your team is formed as a Scrum Master. Your role now is to ensure that your team is performing. You also familiarize with your team, have a session. Maybe you might use a kickoff meeting or another meeting to actually have an informal setting. I would say that in this particular meeting, ensure that everyone shows their camera. Do you get now? Ensure that you know them. Have like an informal one, even if you want to let them bring their drink and everything and play some games. Do you get it now? Let your team feel welcomed. Do this particular meeting. So this is very, very important. In this Sprint Zero, it has to be there. I want a report of how you were able to do it. Okay. And also, so you might also need to do training to your team as well as a Scrum Master. But I'm going to assume that you don't know anything. So we're going to ally with the coordinator to ensure that this is done anyway. But now the ongoing coaching and training will be from the mentors team, your mentor and also your tutors anyway. But in the sprint one, I would expect you to kind of reinforce sprint Scrum principles and practices in align with the ADM. Okay. So like I said, you need to set up your environment also and ensure that the ADM also know about it. Work with the ADM to define your definition of done and definition of ready. And this is very, very important. Definition of done could be done as a story level. I know some people don't know what a story is, but don't worry, your tutors are going to tell you. So the definition of done and ready could be done at a story level. That's fine. As a team, you can have that. But I will also want to have per row, right? And when the BA said, my story is ready, what did they mean? When they say their story is done, what do they mean? As a keyway, when you say your story is ready for you to pick up, what do you mean? When you say a story is done, what do they mean? So I want each row as a keyway, as a and not as most especially as a keyway. When you say I can pick up this story, that's the definition of ready. That means that story is ready to be tested. What do you mean? What are the things that needs to be in place for you to be able to pick those up, right? When you say you finish your work, what do you mean, right? So what are the things or artifacts or reports that you need to prepare? So you don't need to worry. All this I'm just laying out so that when you go into the tutoring or before end of this particular sprint, you know what you are expected in the training. Is very, very important. Then also, of course, you need to start preparing for sprint 1, right? Okay. As a Scrum Master, you need to start preparing for sprint 1. Do we have enough story? Start speaking to your BA, right? Are you writing the story for sprint 1? Because so you are not going to have story developed for sprint 1, but you're going to get ready that when you start sprint 1 sprint planning, right? So your story is there. They are refined and they are in the backlog. Okay. So if you don't understand, this recording will be there anyway. So just jot what I've said, and as I've said it, send it back to the tutors or the mentor within the training. Okay. Of course, you're going to be facilitating the events within the sprint. So daily stand-up, you have to facilitate it. Your sprint refinement, right? You have to facilitate it anyway. So I'm expecting you on Monday next week to do a sprint refinement. Okay. So by that time, whether it's one story or 2 stories that the BAs have written, just let us refine it. Do you get it now? So that I'm expecting that anyway. So on daily stand-up, organize sprint review, okay? At the end of your sprint, okay, on a Saturday, right, or on a Friday, whatever date you guys agree, okay, you need to do a sprint review, right? Sprint review is when you go through what you developed, you've delivered, okay, and you do a demo within yourself, okay, and then you also do a sprint retro, okay. So you need to also, before that day, I think the mentors and the tutors will go through ceremonies. There will also going to be a workshop where they will tell you, will show you how these ceremonies are done. You will see it, and they will, talk about it, and they will show how this is done anyway. For your ceremonies, ensure that you invite your mentors, invite your tutors, so that they can see what you are doing and give you feedback as well. So, and like the AGM, you need to ensure that your team, you have communication within your team, and you have a rapport as well. So that is fun. Pay attention to your team dynamic and morale. This is in sprint 0. It's going to be chaotic, right? People are going to be afraid. Even I know some people already are afraid now because they have been talking about a lot of things, right? This is very, very important. So this is your sprint as a Scrum Master. So, and you need to pay attention to the morale of your team. Ensure that you rally them around, you bring them up if they are not doing what they need to do. Even if you want to take them out virtually, okay, buy drink for them virtually, okay, it's fine. Or physically buy drink for them. If you want to take them out on a lunch, just ensure that you invite me. I'll also go for lunch, and you can buy me some drinks and some food anyway. So I'm happy to join. So and just ensure that your team enjoys you. Do you get this? Very, very important. So documentation and reporting is very, very important. You need to have set up your dashboard, your velocity, your board, your tax bar, tracking progress. That you need to ensure those are done. So or ensure that how you're going to be sharing this report to people, so that your ADM has got visibility of it, your team also got the visibility of it. They know what they are looking for. Do you get it now? So your role is to ensure that even though that metrics are there, your team also knows how to interpret it as well. So you don't need to worry. Your mentors are going to teach you, right? So you then go and explain to your team what those metrics actually mean. So it's very, very important. Collaboration. You guys are a bigger team, okay? So collaboration is very, very important, and coordination and alignment as well. So this is very, very important, okay? And let's move to the BA, okay? So the BA and also the product owners now, okay? So most especially, let me speak to the product owner. You need to speak to the sponsor, right? Get what your team is going to work on and ensure that you agree, you got the mandate, relay the mandate to your team, okay? And ensure that with the ADM, you know what the mandate is and they are they start to work on that. So the BA, right? Of course, you collaborate with the product owners and also the stakeholders to understand the vision or the project mandate and objective at high level now, okay? I'm also expecting you, right, to create an high level process map, okay? To say, okay, this just process map high level, and this is journey from year to year to year. It's not going to be detailed to get it now. So yeah, you need to understand the scope of the project. You need to understand the boundary of the project, okay? Who are the key stakeholders, okay? And you might also need to do stakeholder matrix as well. So you need to do stakeholder matrix. So your mentors are going to teach you how this is done, stakeholders matrix. And yeah, so this is very, very important. And you need to start gathering your requirements. You can use different methods, whether interview, workshop, discussion, yeah, whatever that is. You don't need to worry. Your tutors are going to teach you this metrics, this approach, how to gather requirements, okay? So then first gather high level user story, okay? Then later draw it down, okay? Outline the functionality of the product, the user persona, the profile, so, and who are the target audience as well. So this is very, very important. Then after that, at least I'm expecting you to write at least one story at the end of sprint one. Each one of you, at least one story. So you write your user story at the end of the sprint, okay? It might not be perfect, don't worry, okay? So just write one story at the end of this particular sprint. If you are at least, I will expect to write more anyway. So it should be, your story should be based on the story, on the requirement that you gathered, okay? And they should be well defined, but of course, it's okay to make errors. You need to put your acceptance criteria so in there, okay? And then also with your product owner, ensure that you look at the backlog, you prioritize it as well, okay? And you also could, on next Monday, all right, you need to do what you call backlog grooming, okay? So where you go through the your backlog, you groom it, basically. They call it sprint refinement, where you look at, yeah, with your team, you look at, okay, is this story ready? Because next Monday, upper Monday, we're going to do sprint planning. So you get ready for development, okay? And yeah, so you need to create some documentations, okay? I'm not expecting you to create a beautiful one, okay? So as you go along, you're going better. So process flow, wireframe, process map, okay? All those ones is very, very important, okay? So you need to create those anyway. So you might also will need to do a bit of research to see what is the market, what the tools that you are developing, yeah, comparative to out there, so that you can provide recommendations, your own recommendation anyway. So I'll stop that for now. So and then for the testers, quickly, okay, for the testers, you need to set up your environment, okay? So and you need to start writing at the end of sprint 0, right? You need to create test plan, okay? You need to create test strategy, okay? So if it's not fully done, that's fine, but at least you have something, whether it's going to be a title or just a skeleton, okay? So I want to be able to see them anyway. So at the end, okay, what's your test strategy? Yeah, test plan, do you get it now? And so in that test plan, you talk about the tools that you're going to use, you evaluate it, but that's fine. So we're going to, this one will be a working document, so you will be updating as you go along anyway. So what are the data that you would be needing as well? So I'm expecting you to also create a manual test case. They're going to teach you how to do that anyway. So this is important, okay? Test design, also they are going to teach you if you are not able to do in this sprint, next sprint, okay? Test design strategy, okay? We are going to be talking about test script, okay? Positive and negative test scenario that you are going to be writing, okay? Boundary cases, okay? Regression test cases, okay? So all those things, when you are testing, don't test only negative only. You have to test negative and test positive on positive and negative scenarios. So as you are testing, ask yourself, have I tested the negative scenario? Okay. Have I tested the positive scenario? What is the positive of this one? What's the negative of this one? Is both of them has to go, is equivalent partitioning. So, you don't need to worry. So they are going to teach you about this anyway. So okay. One thing, and okay, let me leave the CI/CD for now, but if your tutors can set that up for you, that would be brilliant as well. But that is not high priority. So quickly, I will move to the I'll move to the DA. Okay, DA, your own is so peculiar, right? So this is very, very important. So you're going to have 4 streams. Okay, first stream, you're going to have the SQL stream, you're going to have the Tableau stream, you're going to have the Excel stream, and you're going to have the Power BI stream, okay? Each of these streams, they'll be giving you projects, right? As you go along, yeah. They are, unlike the agile team that have one project, you have a lot of projects to work on. Do you get it now? So what I want you to do when they if you start now, let's say you start SQL, right? They will talk about how to install the SQL IDE, SQL Server Management Studio, right? So yeah, so you need to create your task, okay, or your story for that. Okay, you need to go into your sprint and create your story for that. So because once your tutor install it and during the meeting, right, you need to install yours and you need to create a story for that, okay, and ensure that you do that, okay. So and also you need to the same thing with this Excel as well. I'm going to assume that everyone has got Excel installed on their system. So, and then you would go through everything that your tutor will be asking you to go. So this is very, very important. So you need to collaborate with your BAs, okay, because the BA will know how to write these requirements. So, and so I'm happy for the BA to help you write requirement for the sprint 1, okay. So ensure that they do that, okay, but not for sprint 0 rather, to help you write it. But I think it's a skill that you should also know how to do that anyway. So I would ask the AGM to be asking you as well. So as you have the web projects, the data project, you need to have both 2 stories at the same time. This is very, very important, okay. So, and you also need to talk about where you are getting your data sources from, okay. So as you go along, like in Excel now, and they say, okay, you are doing pivot table, or you are doing functions, the tutor will give you the data to use, and you can you use them as well, okay. So you'll be doing some data cleansing or visualization, okay. So like that anyway, okay. I think that is it for that anyway. So okay. Oh no, so I think I've taken the time to go through that. Any question? I'll take a few questions before we wrap it up anyway, okay. Any question? Okay, all right, cool. Hope that was not overwhelming. I think it was for me as we're dishing everything out. Rose, please.
My question is in relation to the coordinators for the different roles. Are we going to have some kind of training that we can in turn use to help our team members, our fellow interns?
Okay, all right, cool. That's fine. So training, I don't know what you mean about that training if you want to explain more. What do you mean? What type of training are you looking for? Rose?
So like some kind of, like it says, we need to record sessions and upload the videos, right? And then we need to highlight training needs of our team members. Like we need like a further expansion on these requirements. The things that we need to do so we can understand better what service we're going to be rendering.
All right, brilliant. Okay, yeah, there'll be a session where they're going to show you. I know Allow Me is raising her hand now. So that maybe I should do allow me. Should we stop this recording, right, so that this one is clean, right, so that people can